Today, the 31st of October, marks All Hallows Eve, more commonly known as Halloween, the first day of Hallowtide, the three-day festival that also includes All Saints' Day on the 1st of November and All Souls' Day on the 2nd. Today, many people celebrate it around the world, or at least Halloween. But what did Hallowtide mean to the people in Tudor England? Let's step back in time. Although Halloween was a Christian festival in the medieval and Tudor world, its roots go back to much older pagan traditions, specifically Samhain, the Celtic New Year, celebrated from sunset on the 31st of October to sunset on the 1st of November. It was believed that on the night of the 31st, the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest, and that it was a time when souls and even evil spirits could walk the earth. To keep danger away, people rang church bells, lit bonfires, and wore masks to frighten spirits off and protect their homes and livestock. Buildings were also blessed to drive away witches and dark forces. When Pope Gregory III designated the 1st of November as a day to honour all saints and martyrs in the 9th century, these older Samhain customs blended into Christian practice. The evening before, All Hallows Eve, became a time to pray for souls passing through Purgatory, the place between death and the final judgment. One of the most popular medieval and Tudor traditions on All Hallows Eve was souling. The poor and children would go door to door begging for alms or soul cakes, small spiced cakes baked to represent souls in purgatory. In exchange, the soulers promised to pray for the dead of each household. If you'd like to try making them yourself, I've got a video on that and I'll share the link in the description. Another tradition associated with Halloween was apple bobbing, which started out as young people diving for apples stuck upon a hanging beam which had a lit candle at the other end. Their hands were tied behind their back and they could only use their mouths to bite at the apple. So our modern game of apple bobbing goes back centuries. It also appears to have been customary to crack nuts with one's teeth or to fling the nuts into the fire and watch them crack. According to newworldwitchery.com, there are several divinatory rituals performed with nuts kept in the shell and placed in a fireplace which foretell of love, loss and survival into the next year. It is unclear how old these practices with nuts and apples are, but in the early 19th century book, Observations on Popular Antiquities, John Brand and Henry Ellis note that the author of a letter printed in a book in 1728 wrote of his servants demanding apples, ale and nuts for the last day of October. Another name for Halloween does appear to have been Nutcrack Night. Apple bobbing isn't the only tradition that's continued into the modern day. You can also see how the wearing of masks to frighten evil spirits away and going door to door begging for soul cakes has morphed into trick-or-treating in costume. The next day, the 1st of November, All Saints' Day, honoured every apostle, martyr and saint, not just those with their own feast day. Pope Gregory III had created the feast in the 9th century, and Pope Urban IV later explained its purpose. Any negligence, omission and irreverence committed in the celebration of the saints' feasts throughout the year is to be atoned for by the faithful. Even today, All Saints remains a national holiday in many Catholic countries. Here in Spain, church bells ring out and families fill cemeteries with flowers and candles, remembering the dead, but also celebrating life. Finally comes All Souls' Day, when prayers were offered for all the departed, especially those in purgatory who had no one to pray for them. In Tudor England, bells were rung the night before to comfort these souls and remind the living to remember them. The next day, masses were said and bread was baked in honour of the troubled souls, then given to the poor, an act of charity thought to help the souls move closer to heaven. This feast day is also remembered in Catholic communities around the world today. So, while Halloween today might be all about costumes and sweets, in Tudor times Hallowtide did have some fun elements, the forerunners of today's traditions, but it was also a deeply spiritual season, a time to pray, to remember and to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please do give it a like and subscribe for more Tudor history videos. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.